Good evening, everyone. Here we are again giving you the RFC Tuesday Podcast International Series. I am Kuya Ryan Daes, a registered financial consultant, a chartered wealth manager, and a registered estate planner. I will be one of your anchors on the RFC Tuesday Podcast Season 9. This podcast is made possible through the concerted effort of IARC Philippines and IARC Head Office in Ohio, USA. Represented by the very supportive and very lovely Ms. Susan Capa, IARC's Public Relations Officer. The IARC Philippines is an association dedicated to the craft of financial consulting. The association is the sole organization authorized to conduct the RFC conversion courses as well as continuing education in the field of financial consulting here in the Philippines. Season 9 has 4 episodes which will be aired every Tuesday from June 24 to August 12. Topics to be discussed are as follows: ethics, mastermind groups, fiduciary duty, and IARFC guiding principles. Ethics is a universal responsibility, and tonight we are graced with none other than the Ethics Director for the IARC. Our guest for tonight has numerous certifications and designations in the financial services industry. He has been established in the financial services profession for 40 years now. He owned and operated his financial services practice for 14 years. Prior to establishing his own business, he was the executive vice president for investment banking firm Legg Mason Wood Walker Inc. He served his clientele in all aspects of financial services, including insurance and securities. Our guest is an arbitrator for Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, or FINRA, and brings that experience to the IARFC Ethics Director position. He is an FAA flight examiner, flight instructor, and former Navy aviator. Sounds like Maverick, right? He lives in Cape May, New Jersey with his wife. They have 3 children and 2 grandchildren. Join me, dear Philippine members and guests, in welcoming Mr. Gary Padusis, AIF, RFP, NSSA, and a registered financial consultant. Welcome to the podcast, Gary.
I want to thank you for having me tonight. It's very exciting for me to be talking to somebody halfway around the world. So thank you very much.
You're very much welcome. So first question, for your personal history. Tell us about how you got started in the financial services industry. I heard that you used to be a host or a resource person for a live TV financial segment twice a week called Financial Fitness. Can you tell us more about what you did there and how you started there?
Yes, well, in the United States, financial advisors come from various areas of education, backgrounds. It's a very exciting field to be in. I became licensed and registered in 1986. I joined the IARFC in 1996. And while I was growing my business, one of my associates was a television producer. And we were discussing one day that many people, we call them baby boomers in the United States. These were people basically born between 1946 and 1960, 61 or 62, whatever they call the baby boomer generation. Is, a lot of people don't understand about finance. And we should have a show. And I said, a show about what? He said, well, you could come on and talk to people about their finances, how to invest, how to save, even, how to get a mortgage, whatever, anything that has to do with finance. And I said, that's a great idea. And we developed it together. It went on the air. We had 2 segments each week. And it was so popular that it lasted for over 10 years. It came to the where I was having to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to be on the set by 6 o'clock in the morning. And after 10 years, I turned it over to one of my associates to do. I figured people were tired of seeing my face on television. So I thought I'd bring a younger face on for that next generation, the millennials, what we call them the millennials here, and other generations. So it worked out pretty well. As a matter of fact, it's still on TV today.
Wow, that's fantastic. I wish we have something like that here in the Philippines. But anyways, now let's go to this part of your life wherein you became the founder of Camp Bulls and Bears, which is a summer camp program for children ages 12 to 15. Uh, did you have that financial concepts background when you were younger? Because this lasted for 20 years. And where did you get that from? Teaching children and having that passion to teach them, doing it for 20 years.
Boy, that's a question I always think about. And my father was a businessman and my mother also, I think she was more of a business person than my dad, because she kept the books and the records for their business. So I was taught from a young age how to run a business and how to save and how to invest. So I was very fortunate. But a lot of people aren't. And what I found out, not only from that TV segment that I had for many years, is that parents did not teach their children how to save, how to invest, how to plan for the future. So one of my nephews was very, very interested in coming into my office and discussing finances for some reason. He ended up being a lawyer, but we won't go that way. But anyway, he was very interested, and he said, he said, Uncle Gary, a lot of kids my age are interested in learning how to save and invest, but nobody teaches it in school. Our parents didn't really tell us anything about it. So a light bulb went off in my head, and I said, "Why don't I start a camp?" And there was a school that he attended, and I approached the school, approached the director, and she was all for it. So we developed and titled it Camp Bulls and Bears, and we started it in the year 2000. And it was a 2-week summer program for children, as you said, basically between the ages of 10 to 15, 12 to 15, whatever, it depended. And it was very successful. We began by starting how does mom and dad save? Why do mom and dad go to work? Do they bring home their whole paycheck? What are taxes? What's a mortgage? What are utilities? What's insurance? All these payments that have to be made on a monthly basis from your parents' income. And the kids were amazed at all the expenses, including groceries and going to the movies and going out to dinner and buying clothes, whatever. They were amazed at how much things cost and how hard mom and dad had to work for them in order to provide for the household. And then we started a business. And, to keep it short, we ended up taking the business public. And the kids were so interested in that. But here's what happened. After the third day, the parents started coming into the class. Okay. The parents started attending the camp. They were interested too about how to start a business, how to take a public company, how to buy stocks, how to buy bonds, how to invest in, how to buy insurance, what a mutual fund was. They didn't even know what a mutual fund was.
Wow.
To a point where the class was about 22 kids, and we ended up having about 15 to 16 parents attending the camp on a daily basis. So it was kind of fun. And exciting for the kids, for the parents, and for me to be able to do something like this.
Wow, that's good stuff. Actually, there should be something like that here. I hope we can collaborate on that in the future. Well, let's talk about it offline though. But that sounds exciting because I haven't heard of such a camp being done here. And talk about starting them young. that's the best way to do it, right?
Yes. Instilling how to save, how to invest, and how to plan for retirement at a young age is very important. You know, what I found in the 40 years as being a financial advisor and consultant is that even today, many young people up to their 50s and 60s have not planned for any type of retirement. And when I ask them why, it's because they were never really told by their parents, by their friends, their peers, their employer, you know, what they needed to do for retirement. Yeah, some people have retirement plans. If they go to work, they have a 401k plan or some other type of retirement plan. But that's basically, they believe, all they need. Plus, what we have here is Social Security, which is provide, you pay into the government, and at a certain age, you start receiving benefits from the government. But that's supposed to supplement your retirement income, not to completely cover all of your retirement expenses. So it's very important instilling it as a young age, how to save and how to invest and plan for retirement.
Wow, those are good stuff that people should know, even wherever you are. Even here in the Philippines, that's a usual problem. Now, let's go to your position of ethics director for the IARFC. Uh, what made you decide, or how did you come to that decision to accept this role in the organization?
Well, there's a question. You know, I have been a member of the IARFC. I think I mentioned this previously since 1995.
Yeah.
And I hold other designations and certifications, accreditations, whatever, in this industry. But what I found about the IARFC, it doesn't discuss how to invest. It doesn't, its mission statement isn't about this is how you should manage a client's portfolio. This is how you invest in mutual funds. This is or government issues or insurance. To me, the IRFC represents the ethical standards in the industry. And that's basically the mission statement to me, is being an ethical organization to those in the financial services industry. And it's not only here in the United States, it's now universal. It's now in the Philippines. It's now in other countries. So it's very important to me to be director of ethics for the IARFC. And I'm very honored to be the director of the IARFC. And why, you know, other reasons I took the position was because I have the background for the position. I'm a FINRA arbitrator, which is very highly respected here in the United States, where I hear cases between brokers and clients, or between what we call here broker dealers and their clients. And I understand the many issues that confront the financial consultant on a daily basis, and how hard, and it is hard, to adhere to an ethical policy at times. But we must all adhere to that ethical policy at all times, or else we won't have a business in the future. So I basically took on this position to be a mentor to younger people who are coming into our industry, who need to learn and understand how important it is to have an ethical standard to your client base and to the area you live in, no matter what you do in life. It could be your family, it could be your friends, it could be your business. You must keep a fiduciary ethical standard at all times to be successful in life and in this business.
How do you see ethics in an international light? Meaning, what are the truisms for any financial consultant in any country? What's the baseline? What's the standard that we are coming from, or where we should be coming from?
Ethics, or an ethical standard, is universal. There may be different norms or mores in various countries throughout the world, but there's an ethical standard in this industry that is universal. And those are the truisms. You know, my father once told me that money is reward for doing good things for people. And that is so true. And that is a truism in itself. If we just put our clients' interests first and do what's right for them, we are going to have such a successful career. And no matter what we select, whether we're a doctor, a dentist, a lawyer, a financial consultant, an engineer, an architect, whatever industry or career we select, what path we want to go down. Having an ethical standard is so important, and it's universal. And that's why the IARFC is so important, not only here in the United States, but now offering that ethical standard throughout the world in various countries.
Wow, that's very profound and very true. Actually, here in the Philippines, I do belong in the life insurance industry, and aside from that, I also am part of the trust industry here. We are always reminded by our leaders that whenever we give advice to our clients or whenever we sell to our clients, we should look at the mission first before the commission. Most of the time when financial advisors here would see someone who can afford a huge premium, they would always target for to have that huge premium rather than looking at how they could help the client. So thank you for reminding us on how to do things right. Not just because we're members of IARC, but because we serve the public, not just a few people. It affects everybody. Thank you for that, Gary.
Ryan, there's one more point I wanted to make, if I have the time and the ability to do it. And what's important to be a member of this organization, the IRFC, and if you do have other certifications and credentials in this industry, whether you're in our country, it's a certified financial planner or CHFC, or there's so many designations now that are available to the financial consultant, is that we have to be current in what we do. Things change. The industry changes. Not only does the government and the regulators and the industry itself and our own companies change each year, and we have to follow their standards. We have to stay current in what we offer to the client. It's very important, whether you're offering securities, insurance, or any other product to a client, that you, as the financial consultant, have a complete understanding of that client and of that product, and you're offering that product to the client in a proper manner so that they can understand what you're offering them. And that's such a truism in our industry. And the IARFC itself adheres to those types of standards where we have continuing education, we have our code of ethics. So it's very important to me, and it should be to others, that we stay current in what we offer to our clients in an ethical manner so that they understand exactly what they're investing in.
So now let's get to the next question. What do you see is the hardest part of maintaining your ethical reputation? It's hard to establish a practice. We all know that. But to be able to maintain your reputation as someone who practices high ethical standards, how do you sustain that?
Boy, these are really good questions today, aren't they? I believe it's being consistent and avoiding conflicts. You go into work on a daily basis with the best intentions for your clients and for yourself. However, there's pressures in life, from your employer to produce, to keep you in your position, to provide for your family and make an income for yourself. So consistency to me, and I kind of answered this in the previous question, but I go a little bit deeper, is being current again in what you are offering to your clients, that you have an understanding of what their needs are, and that you offer a product or investment that will satisfy their needs and not yours. And that's where the conflict comes in. Do I offer a client a product that my employer desires me to offer, that's popular, that will pay me the highest commission and help me keep my job here and provide a great income or whatever for my family? Or do I offer the product or investment that will satisfy, again, my client's needs? So that's the conflict. And we face that on a daily basis in life, no matter what we do. What do I do what's best for me in life, which is important, or do I do what's best for the client and my company? Mm-hmm. Always do what's best for the client. Always, and again, going back to the IARFC, I'm not trying to sound like a commercial here, but that, if you look at our canons, that's what they say. That's our principles. That's what this organization is all about, doing what is ethical. And that's, again, why I'm ethics director, and I'm so proud to hold that title with this organization.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing all of your thoughts on that. How do you get your clients to trust you?
How do you get a client to trust you? Well, it takes years to cultivate a client and to earn that trust. There was a saying at my broker-dealers on the wall that when you entered it, it would say it takes years to earn the trust of a client, but only a second to lose that trust. And that is so important in any industry you're in. Earning the trust. When you go to a dentist for the first time, or a doctor for the first time, or whatever service you're in need of, that person, let's take a dentist, that dentist is trying to gain your trust. Oh, you need this bridge work. Oh, you need this done. Oh, you need that done. Well, do I really need it done, or is he just trying to sell me something? Right? We all sell something. Dentists sell, doctors sell, lawyers sell, accountants sell, businesses sell, whatever. All trying to offer somebody a product that they need. But we have to earn that trust. We have to earn their business. That's so important. So when you go into that dentist and you say, okay, and you have the work done, and you find out it was true that you needed it done, and a year goes by and you keep having your teeth cleaned, whatever, you go to the dentist, he's earned your trust. You go in there now, you don't ask him any questions anymore. When he or she says you need this work done, you say, okay, because you've earned the trust. How many times have we had clients that we've cultivated over the years, and they come into our office and they're here to review their insurance policies, or maybe they're interested in a new insurance policy, or they have a financial plan and securities and they want to review it, and you've made investments for them, and that part of the conversation lasts about 5 minutes. The rest of the time is normally talking about your family and friends and how life's going on between the both of you. Because why? Because they trust you. You've earned their trust. They're not going to, they might ask a few questions about, the investment and why you did it and why, well, they should invest in it, but you've earned their trust at that point. You've done what's best for them, and now they understand that. And they're going to refer other people to you because of that. And your business will consistently grow because of that. Just keep the ethical standard, and everything in your business will be fine.
That's wisdom for all of you. Thank you for sharing that. talking about losing trust and confidence in a financial consultant. If, for example, a member of ours loses his ethical reputation, can it still be regained? Is there a way to bring things around if mistakes often happen, right? But most of the time they're not really intentional. How do you go back? How do you regain your reputation? Is that possible?
You just made a point of saying intentional. Wasn't intentional.
But
When I received these questions, I pondered the answer in my mind for quite a while. I even asked my wife about it. To me, once you lose the trust of a client, it's lost. Now, was it intentional? Was it something that you did? Or was it something that somebody else did? Did your company do something that caused the problem? Did your branch manager or somebody else in your office cause the problem? And in that case, if you're honest with the client and say, look, my company or I was misinformed about something that had to do with your investment, and I'm going to fix it for you. I just want you to know we're going to fix it for you. Nobody's perfect in life. Mistakes happen. They happen every day, at least for me. Okay, again, nobody's perfect. If I'm genuine and that I didn't intentionally make the mistake that caused the client harm, I should be able to regain their trust. On the other hand, if it was intentional, if it was for my own personal gain, and I did not keep my ethical and fiduciary standard of providing them the proper guidance and the proper product and investment for them, then it is very difficult to get that trust back once you lose it from the client. So what's the best thing to do? Is not to do it in the first place. Don't do something to your client that will cause them financial harm and hardship. It's going to come back to you, and it could really end your career. If it's that severe, it could cause you to lose your license. Just stick to the ethical standard set forth by your industry and by the IARFC, and you're going to be okay.
I guess we really have to think hard and well whenever we give our advice to our clients. And then always go back to that truth that trust can easily be lost with just one wrong decision and one wrong advice, right?
Yes, and that's why, previously in this podcast, we talked about keeping up with product knowledge in the industry.
Yes.
If maybe you offered the wrong investment or product to the client. Maybe there was something better that they found out that they could have had, but you didn't know about it. So it wasn't intentional that you did it. But if you keep up with your industry standards, if you keep up with what's going on in the industry and what trends and what products are needed at that time for a client, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. You didn't do anything wrong.
I guess that's the importance of going through that continuing education to renew our membership. So that's the wisdom behind it, so to speak.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
But I heard a while ago you talking about fiduciary duty. So what does that mean? Can you briefly explain how it works and how should we go about it in our practice?
I would, first of all, keep our code of ethics on the wall. If I didn't have this IARFC screen behind me, you would see my actual code of ethics on my wall for my clients to see. And it's very important that each of us who are members of this organization, and even that those that aren't, that are in the industry, read that code of ethics, not every day, but every now and then, to remind us of keeping that fiduciary standard for our clients. The fiduciary standard is adhering to a policy of keeping your client's best interest first and your interest second. That's basically it. Doing what is best for your clients and what their needs are in our particular industry. It's so simple. It's not difficult to keep a fiduciary standard. We offer intangible products to our clients. We don't offer purchasing an automobile or purchasing a boat or purchasing some tangible item. We offer intangible items that they cannot see. They get pieces of paper. They get if it's an insurance policy, they get a contract that's sometimes that big. Do they read it? No. But what do they expect? They expect us to know what's in that contract, and they expect us to be offering them that product with our full knowledge and intent that it is the best investment for them for what their financial needs are. And that is what's keeping a fiduciary standard and an ethical standard, whether you're a member of this organization, the RERFC, or not.
Well, talking about ethical standard, what do you think? What is the best advice for those new to financial services regarding maintaining ethical reputation? I guess I remember most of your answers are actually coming from our code of ethics, right? So it really is very obvious that you live and breathe our code of ethics. So, but going back to the question, what would be the best advice if I were, or among our watchers who are new to the financial service industry, so that they can maintain their ethical reputation?
When I was executive vice president of a broker-dealer, what I finally summarized was that young people in our industry needed a mentor. They needed somebody that had already been established in the business that kept an ethical standard in the business. And what I would try to do is I would try to match a young financial professional, someone coming into the business, with someone who was tenured in our business, someone who had, 10 years, 15, 20 years worth of experience. And I would go to that person. I would say, what I want you to do is to, like an intern, like a young, I want you to take this young person, this young licensed person who's coming into our industry, coming into our company, and I want you to mentor them. Now, I don't want you to spend your full time with them. I don't expect them to sit next to you in the office or whatever. But if they come to you with questions about a product or a service that this company offers, give them the proper answer, give them the proper guidance, because they may not know. They may not know what to do. They may not know what the ethical standard is when they first come in. And it was so popular and it worked out so well. So what I would recommend for young professionals is the same thing. Find a mentor. Find someone in your business or your company that you trust and go up to them and say, I heard you have a great reputation and you're very knowledgeable about this business and the products that this company offers. Would you mind me coming to you now and then, possibly going out to lunch? I would even pay for it, and offering me advice on how I should deal with clients, deal with their questions, the products that we offer. And that way I can use your knowledge and make it my own knowledge and do what's best for my client base and our client base as a company. And maybe one day as a young professional, I'll be able to offer that same service when I'm in the business 10 or 15 years to somebody else that's coming in. So to me, it's very, very important to have a mentoring system in your company where older, seasoned advisors or consultants offer their advice to young professionals coming in. My second point is that, okay, so you have your mentor, you've established a relationship with someone in your organization that you can trust. What else could you do? Well, our own organization, the IARFC, is a great entry point for every young professional to join. Again, we do not offer products. We do not tell the advisor how to invest, what products to offer their client base. What this organization offers is an ethics and fiduciary standard that one should follow. If you come in as a young professional, and again, this may sound like a commercial, but it's not. It's a truism. If you join this organization and follow our canons, our code of ethics, our principles, and also make this part of your daily business, working with your client base and establishing your client base, you are going to be years ahead of other financial professionals entering this industry. It's a simple fact. Do what's best for the client first. Put your self-interest second, and you're going to be successful. Money is a return for doing good things for people. Your income, your lifestyle, whatever you want is a return for doing what's best for your client base.
So I guess for those people who are interested to join this industry or who are new to this industry, in the financial service industry, the best way to do it is to consider being a member of the IARC. That would be there. You will find your guiding light here. So great. Thank you for answering that, Gary.
Thank you for asking.
Thank you so much, Gary, for your valuable sharing and for being so generous with your time. We learned a lot about the importance of ethics, especially in our fiduciary responsibilities to our clients as registered financial consultants. I love it so much that you were able to put in, coming from your answers, the how we live by the code of ethics that we are espousing in our organization, and how we should always update ourselves. Now it's very clear, and for sure our podcast watchers, especially our members, are saying, so that's why we have to go through that continuing education. So being updated and being attuned to what's going on in the world will definitely help our clients better. Now let us also thank the excellent efforts of Ms. Susan Kappa, IARC Public Relations, for ensuring the success of this international series. If not for Susan, we wouldn't have Gary on board sharing with us all of these valuable information about ethical standards and how we can best practice becoming a financial consultant here in the Philippines. And looking forward to how we could implement that mentoring system, perhaps even within our organization. Are you loving this podcast? Just imagine what else you can get if you are an active member of IARC. Active members now receive free continuing education seminars, and you are given access to the official IARC website, www.iarc.org, where each member of good standing is recognized when searched by clients and prospects. Please do be reminded that we can only use the RFC designation if we are members of good standing. For your membership renewal information, please contact our Executive Vice President, Ms. Grace De Vera Escobar, at g.escobar@iarfc.org or her mobile number at 0917-157-7523. So, contact IARC Philippines now for your membership renewals. Please do remember that our podcast episodes are shown every second and fourth Tuesday of the month. That is why it is important to follow us on Facebook. Episodes are pre-recorded and are broadcasted through Facebook Live. On behalf of our executive producer, Ms. Grace de Rivera Escobar, this is the RFC Tuesday podcast saying,
It is better to be in the know than to be the last to know.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you very much, everyone. See you on the next episode. God bless you all.